All right, so far in this class, we've been using R through RStudio Cloud, which is a cloud version of a piece of software that RStudio produces. And in order to use RStudio Cloud, you go to a web browser like maybe Chrome or Firefox, and you go to rstudio.cloud, and then you can log in, but you have to have internet access. It's been pretty stable for us so far, but some people have had some issues, and so you might want to work locally on your own computer, and that would be, some kind of application that you would double click on your computer just like you would for Microsoft Word or Excel or whatever that is. If you want to install these things locally, I've put the instructions up on Canvas, and I just wanted to walk you through it quickly. So the first bullet is you need to download and install R. This is the programming language itself. So you would go to this top part, and then you would pick whether you use Linux, Mac, or Windows. I'm on a Mac, so I would click here. And then you would look to see if you had the right kind of version. So I know that I have something higher than OS 10.11, which was El Capitan. So this binary is going to work for me. Let's see. So it looks like there's two things going on, one for Catalina, which is Mac OS, and one that is regular. So I would pick whichever one I thought was more appropriate, and I would click on it, and then it would download it onto my computer. Once it was downloaded, I'd go through the installer just like I would for other pieces of software. So once you've done that process, and it would look similar for Windows, you would probably want the base distribution. That's when you install R for the first time. And it looks like there's just one version for Windows, so you would download this file, and then again you would walk through the installer. Once you've done that, then you would have the programming language on your computer. But in order for it to work nicely, you're going to want the RStudio desktop, which is the integrated development environment that makes it easier to program in R. So if we go here, RStudio has some different versions. We're going to use the RStudio desktop, and we're going to use the open source edition. So this is the free version, which is what we want, and we can just click download RStudio desktop. And then it's gonna, again, bring us to, there's these expensive versions of RStudio for like big companies that want a lot of support, but we're gonna use the free version. And again, there are versions for different operating systems. I'm using Mac OS 10.13, and up. So I would click on this link and then download this file and install it. If you're using Windows, you download this one, and then there's a bunch of different versions for various Linux varieties. So once you have those two things installed, then you could open the program RStudio, and when you double click on it, it's going to look a lot like what you've seen in RStudio Cloud. Then the last thing that you would want to do is install some packages. So I installed a ton of packages for you on RStudio Cloud, and you can install all of those, especially if you have a lot of space on your hard drive. You can just copy this line of code and then paste it into your console to get it to run. If you don't have a lot of space left on your computer, or you just want to be as efficient as possible, just install .packages, parentheses, in quotes, tidyverse, and that'll be enough to get you started. And then you'll get errors if you ever try and use something like, oh, I can't find this function, and then you could install the package at the time. Like it says, I'm happy to troubleshoot if you run into any issues.